What up, what up, what up, though? Welcome to the Big Pick Show, the Big Pick Podcast, the Piccsta Podcast, I'm sorry. I'm your host, the Picksta. Oh, man. How's everyone doing? I hope everyone's great. What a weekend, man. What a weekend. What a weekend. Hold on. What a weekend. Hope everyone's doing well. I hope the sound is good. I've been working on this for 30 minutes now. I hope it's good. What up, Joe? Joe Bro in the house. What up with you, my brother? What up with you? Oh man. Welcome to the podcast, man. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Joe, you a trucker, huh? You a trucker. Don't you drive for FedEx or something like that? I think it's FedEx. What's up with you, my brother? How you feeling, man? Welcome in. Welcome in. I was supposed to have a guest today. I was supposed to have a whole different show, a guest and stuff, but we gonna take it in another direction just for today. Just for today. Next week we'll be back on. We'll be back on. Probably have my featured guest, or we'll get another guest or whatever, you know. Or we'll get another topic. I got a lot of topics too. This topic though, I should have been did this. Like this probably should have been the second episode or something. We're gonna talk a little bit about what I do right now for a living, trucking. Just post a vehicle, not a truck. Oh, okay. Hey, that's cool. That's cool. That's still, man. Listen, that's still out there getting it. Still out there getting it. But we're gonna talk about trucking, trucking, and how it intertwines in my life, my whole trucking journey, and how it plays into me being a content creator and a gamer. But man, I hope everyone's doing well, man. We in April, bro. What a time! What a time, man! What a time. Um, I'm looking at something right quick. Hold on. I didn't even know about this. Oh, shit. Just post. What's up with you though, Joe? What you got going on, man? You playing something? You got something going on? What's good with you? Oh, Joe, you know what I need to do? I need to put you in a VIP. That's what I need to do. I'm gonna take care of that. I'm gonna take care of that, my brother. Chilling. I'm on the is that Assassin's Creed Shadows? Okay. That's what's up. That's what's up. Is that a single player game? Is that a single player, or can you co-op on that? Can you co-op on that? Everybody like right now, everybody either playing. They then went back to Fortnite. They on yeah, single. Okay. They went back to Fortnite. They playing Monster Hunter, Assassin's Creed, or they or Marvel Rivals. That's the top five. Or they then went back to Warzone, whatever. But that's the hot five right now. That's the hot five. Everybody doing. Welcome in, my brother. I appreciate you being here. But as anybody that knows me, they know I drive trucks. I don't even like the term. People say, "Oh, you're a trucker." I don't believe that. I don't. It's not my lifestyle. I've never been one of those hardcore truck drivers. Like I've never been a guy like where trucking was my life. Like you know what I'm saying. It's just something I do for a living. I've never been that guy. Like you got some guys that really get into it. Like they hardcore truckers. Like you got guys that they company drivers, right? They company drivers. They be washing the company truck. Like they treat the company truck like it's their own truck. Like I never been into it like that, man. I've owned the truck and all that. I've never been into the all the chrome and all the lights and all that. I'm not, bro. It's a truck. It's there to make money. That's it. That's how I've always looked at it. But it's you would think that it's easy to create content and also be a trucker, and for some people it is. Some guys, they just create content from their truck or within the trucking space. I've never really done that much. Like I did try to live stream some of my trips and some of my miles that I ran at certain times, but I've never like I was a gaming. I am and still am a gaming content creator. So I've done that in the space of trucking, but I've never thought about let me show people this city or that city or how to pre-trip or post-trip. I never been that kind of content creator as far as when it comes to trucking. Like I say, trucking is just my profession. It's my job. It's what I do. I treat it as such. Um, it's not easy. It's not easy to be a gamer and a trucker. It's not easy to try to create gaming content on the road. It's not difficult, but it's not easy. It's not just like, oh, you just hook this up here and do this, and as long as you got a power source and an internet source, you good. No, it's different, man. Because when you're at home, you just have a bigger level of comfort to be able to do what you need to do. When you're on the road, man, it's so much that it's so much that ties into the trucking life and content creation. Like you have a certain like when you stop driving, right? When you're done for the day, you stop driving. You have to find somewhere to sleep, somewhere safe at that. You have to find somewhere where you have a good internet connection because if you don't got that, you can't do nothing. Um, it's a lot, man. It's a lot that goes into it. And then when you're off duty, like when you don't have to drive and you're off duty and stuff like that, you only have 10 hours. Like you off duty for 10 hours. You need a 10-hour reset before you have to start duty again, start working and start driving again. So you kind of got to make time for your content, make time for yourself, make time for your family. If you have a family, you got to call home or they call you or whatever. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's not as easy as it seems. And I remember when I first started to do the content from the truck, when I started to stream or play video games on my PlayStation 4, and people were so amazed by that. People was like, "Yo, you drive trucks? Like you got your PlayStation in your truck?" Here's the kicker to that. Here's the kicker to that. I've always had my PlayStation in my truck. As long as I've been on the road, as long as I have been on the road and slept in a truck, I've always had a PlayStation in my truck. I'm talking about all the way to PlayStation 2. I used to take my PlayStation 2 with me on the road. Like I've always had, you know what I'm saying? I've always had that. I just didn't believe in having my system home. I was the only one at home that played video games. So I didn't feel like I had to have my system at home while I'm on the road for 2 to 3 weeks at a time. I would take it with me. This is way back in 2004, right? I'm on the road. I worked for this company, Warner Enterprises, right? And I had a power inverter and I had a 13-inch TV, like like the tube, the fat TVs, the tube. I had one of those, man. And yeah, I made it work. I made it happen, bro. CPS, what the hell? What are they talking about? What are they talking about? I'm not doing this. I ain't worried about that. Anyway, yeah. So my journey in trucking, um, I've been driving since I've been in the trucking space since 2003. I got my CDL in December of 2003. 2003. And it's been a long journey, man. It's been a long journey. It's been up and down. Like when people tell you trucking is a roller coaster, it truly is. Like it's one of the most inconsistent jobs there is. One of the most inconsistent professions there are. Um, and I'm just being honest. I don't even really like trucking like that. I never did. I never did. I never was in the space of trucking. Let me turn this off. I need to turn this off. How do I turn this? I'm trying to turn this. I turn this off. Oh, there it goes. Why is this not cutting off? Anyway, there you go. There we go. It's off. That's crazy. But yeah, I've never like really enjoyed trucking. I made the most of it, but I remember exactly how it started. Like this is gonna be a long story. But this is the topic, this is what the podcast is about. This is what somebody asked me. This person, I'm not gonna say their name, they said don't say it, whatever, but this person was asking me about trucking for a long time, for like 3 years. And I would say certain things, and the amount of stuff they would ask, I would always ask the guy like, "Bro, you going to get your CDL?" I don't know, man. I'm thinking about. I don't want to be on the road like that. I said, "Bro, you don't have to be on the road like that. You could get your CDL, go local. It's not like it was when I first got mine in 2003. If you were a new trucker and you didn't already have a job that was ready to hire you, like if you was working at a job and they say, "Hey, you already work here. We need truck drivers. Go get your CDL. We'll hire you, and we'll train you here or whatever." But if you didn't have that, more than likely you had to go over the road. You had to go with Swift, JB Hunt, Stevenson's Transport, like all these companies, Warner Enterprises. You had to do that, and you had to go get like a year or two experience. So in 2003, um, I was working at this place. Y'all ain't gonna know this. I was living in Southwest Louisiana, and I was working at this place called Church Point Wholesale. It's a grocery wholesale warehouse place. Um, and I was working there, and I was working at this time that I'm picking up this story. I was working in receiving, right? So I never unloaded a truck. I never like was on the forklift that unloaded the trucks. I was on the reach lift, the stand up forklift, the forklift that you stand up on, and it, like a reach lift, reach out of the rack like an order pick or whatever. And I was like, whenever the guys on the sit down forklifts would bring in the product and line it up, me and my homeboy Derek, shout out Derek, we would put the stuff in the racks. Like we would put it away after it would get unloaded off the trucks. So one day I was outside on the dock, and this guy from FedEx Freight, he came and he pulled up and he was on the phone. He was on his cell phone, and they was unloading his truck. And I just happened to just ask him, right? I just asked him. I say, bro, how much money do you make driving trucks? Like, no, I never was interested in driving trucks. Never had a thought about it. Never, my grandpa drove trucks in the army in World War II. My dad drove trucks for a little while, which I didn't even know that. I didn't know my grandpa did it, and I didn't know my dad did it. As long as I can remember, my dad worked offshore. But right before he went offshore, he drove trucks for a little while. I didn't know that. I didn't know that till I ended up driving trucks, and then people started telling me that. But as long as I could remember, my dad he worked offshore, and I remember asking this guy. I say, man, how much money do you make like driving trucks? And he was like, oh, not much, like 1,500 a week, 1,700 a week, sometimes 1,800 a week. Now this blew my mind. I'm like, you make almost $2,000 a week? He's like, yeah, yeah, it's not much. Like he was talking about it like it wasn't no money, but at the same time, I'm young. I'm 21 years old. You know what I'm saying? And well, no, I was 20. I was 20 at the time. Yeah, I was 20. I didn't turn in 2003. I was 20. Yeah. So I'm 20 years old, and I had to learn this. Like everybody have a different definition of money. What money is. Like somebody may say, "Oh, I make 100,000 a year." And to them that's a lot of money, but to someone that makes $500,000 a year, they like that ain't no money. Like everybody got their own definition of money, what money is. Now, I was young and I had to learn that. Now, granted, I'm a forklift operator in Southwest Louisiana, in the country, right? Right. So I'm making I think I was making. What was I making? I think I was making $7.59 an hour, right? I was making five something, and then I started making like $7.59 an hour. But I didn't. I only made like $1,000 a month, right? No lie, like for real. This is real shit. This is real shit now. I was making $1,000 a month, and here's this guy. I'm asking this guy what he makes, and he's telling me he's making upwards of on a good week $1,800 a week, right? This man making what I make in a month, he making it weekly, sometimes double that weekly. So I'm like, damn, like you know what I'm saying. And I never had interest in driving trucks. Um, I never before I even drove a truck. I never even drove a standard transmission. Like I never even drove a stick shift in a car ever. Everything was automatic. So the guy like he told me that, and I remember I said, man, I would love to try to what up, Reap? What's up, my brother? How you doing? How you feeling, my brother? Appreciate that. Resub 58 months, man. Let's go. Let's go, Reap. How you feeling, my brother? How you feeling, man? I'm good. About to hit the road, but I saw the note it had to pass through. I appreciate you, my brother. I appreciate you, man. Yeah, I'm just up in here telling my trucking journey, man. Just started telling my trucking story. But man, I appreciate that resub, man. Thank you for the continued support, man. That's my second longest subscriber right there, Reaper PC. Only behind my brother Plague Templar, who's the longest subscriber I've had. I appreciate you, my brother. Real talk, man. Hey, if you're getting on the road, man, be safe. Be safe. Hey. Why did that sound play? That sound wasn't supposed to play. It's not on this overlay. You going? What occasion? In her room? Did you lock our room though? Tell CJ to lock it. I'm gonna be finished. I'll go get with her. All right. Man, I appreciate that, Reap. Anyway. Oh man. Mm, mm, okay. I'll check back when I get in. If you okay. Yeah, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. If not, remember the vibe will be on YouTube, so there ain't no pressure, my brother. I appreciate you, man. Drive safe. You know what I'm saying? Let them boneheads have the road, bro. They trying to drive crazy, man. Let them have it. Just make sure you get home safe, my brother. I appreciate you. But like I said, man, yeah, I never had no real interest in driving trucks. I just heard that and I seen dollar signs. Like I say, I'm a forklift operator, and I'm not lying to you. I made $250 a week. That's what I made, right? You know, I was married. I had my son was born, and my wife at the time was pregnant with our daughter, right? So she was pregnant with our daughter. So you know, and I'm not going front like we was making it happen, but I knew that, especially when my daughter was born, if we ever were going to get anywhere in life, what I'm gonna do with $250 a week? I'm talking literally. My check was like we got paid every other week, so my check was $500. Like every pay period, $500. Every other week, $500. So $1,000 a month. And you know how it is. Like when you making money, you adjust your life to what you make. The mistake is if you start making more money, right? If you start making more money, you start taking on more bills, buying more shit instead of saving. You know, this is what we didn't realize at 20 years old and stuff like that. We need to save money. We need to put money away. But you live and you learn. And my life was cool. When I had less, I kind of lived more comfortable. I'm not even ashamed to say that. When I had less, when I made less money, I lived more comfortable. I didn't take on more debt. I didn't spend more money. I had no credit, no credit cards, none of that. But that's another topic for another day, another podcast. Um, I remember I was just sitting there. I'm not gonna lie, I was just sitting on the dock. I didn't even want to go back to work. I didn't. Like I didn't want to go back to work. And I remember my homeboy Derek, he came out and he came talk to me because he started looking for me. He didn't see my machine moving. He's like he wondered if I went in the restroom because you could leave out on the dock and they had some restrooms out on the dock, like the doors to the restroom. So he thought I went in there because sometimes we would go sit down in there and chill. Like we'd be getting away from work, we go chill. So he came out. He's like he used to always call me Big D. He's like Big D, what's up, man? What you doing out here? I was like, man, I'm just chilling. He said, what's up, man? You look like you got something on your mind. You good? I say, man, I talked to this truck driver just now, man, this FedEx dude. I said, but you know how much money this dude make? He's like, nah. I say, bro, dude say he make on a good week, a great week, he made like 1,800 a check. He's like, damn, like that's good money or whatever. He's like, shit, we ain't gonna make that here. And he laughed and he got on his forklift and left. And while Derek is like that, you got friends like that they just always keep everything light. They joke a lot, and I'm like, all right, he ain't lying, but in my mind, I'm like, bro, I need that money. I need that money. I need to be able to get to that. I need that for me and for my family, because I'm never gonna make nothing happen with this little bit of money. You're gonna stay comfortable and that's it. And not saying that that's a bad thing, but I wanted more. I really wanted more. So I never really pursued it. Like time passed. One day we were having a break. We were on a dock and we were having a break. And my supervisor, he pulled up in a brand new Ford F 250. Yeah, it was a 250. And he pulled up, and I'm talking about a nice, clean truck. I'm talking about, man, I fell in love with that truck. Like, I still today like the F-150s and stuff. If I could get one, I'd get one. Or a Raptor, a Ford Raptor or something like that. But, man, he pulled up in this brand. I'm talking about, this is just imagine this. It's break time. I think we got four 15-minute breaks throughout the day, right? So it was 3 or 4. I think it was 4. But we were on a break. So even everybody that works in the warehouse, they take a break. They take a break at their station. This is a grocery warehouse. So you got like the cigarette room where they do cigarettes. You got the candy room. You have we worked in the racks, stuff like that. So a lot of people would come out to the dock and they had some benches lined up on the dock. So people would come out and sit at the dock. Now, granted, this is a dock where trucks back in, 18-wheelers, trucks back in to get offloaded. Why our supervisor pull up? He wanted everybody to see his brand new truck. The parking lot way on the other side of the warehouse, right? They actually could park in front. They had some parking spaces right along the fence outside of the dock. So he could have parked right there. Normally he does park right there to go walk to his office. But today he got a brand new truck. He pulled right up to the dock where everybody was sitting so he could flex. And I'm talking about, you know what I'm saying? He pulled up. I didn't see him pull up, right? He pulled up, he parked the truck. And then he was sitting on the dock, like talking to people and stuff. So by the time I walked out to the dock, I seen the truck. I was like, damn, that's a nice ass truck. Like, I'm looking at it like, yeah, that's a nice ass truck. And I sat down and I just was looking at the truck and I kind of zoned out. Everybody was just doing their own thing, talking, laughing, whatever. And I was like, man, that's a nice truck. I'm gonna get me a truck like that one day. And I forgot this lady's name, but she was right next to me, and she told it to my supervisor. She's like, "Hey, nah, some people will call me, some people call me D, Big D. Some people call me Big Meat. That's just what they call me. My name is Demetrius. They will call me Meat or Big Meat, whatever." So she said that. She said, "Hey, Big Meat say he like your truck." Like, she told it to him, and he was like, "What?" I'm hearing them, but I'm not paying attention to them. And he was like, she's like, "Yeah, Big Meat say he like your truck. He said he gonna get one like that one day." And he got up, he made it his business to get up, walk up to me, and he said, "You like that truck?" I said, "Yeah, I'm gonna give you one like that one day." He said, "You ain't gonna get one like that working here." And he laughed. Everybody on the dock laughed, and he just walked inside. And I don't, look, I'm young. I'm I'm a little sensitive. I was pissed. I felt, what I'm saying? I'm like, damn, like, y'all laughing and y'all think this funny? Like, he basically just said, "You ain't about to get one. You work here and you got one, but you telling me I'm not going to get one." So to me, that's like you acknowledging that I don't make no money. You acknowledging that y'all not even paying us right. Like, my mind just started going to different places. And I remember talking to Derek about it, and Derek was like I say, he's so silly, man. He's so silly, and he was so lighthearted about everything. He's like, "Big D, man, don't even trip on that, man. Like, don't worry about it. You're taking it personal." Don't. I say, bro, it's not even against him. It's not about him. It's about me and what I'm trying to do in life and what I want in life. He's not lying. What he said, he ain't lying. I'm not going to get that working here. Like, he wasn't lying at all, right? But I'm like, all right, I gotta make an exit. I gotta get up out of here. Um, I told Derek, I say, "Man, what do you know about truck driving? Anybody in your family drive trucks?" He told me a couple of people drove trucks. He's like, "What you think?" And I said, "Well, I'm thinking I want to go to truck driving school. That's what I think I'm gonna do." He told me, he said, "Man, they got a truck driving school not too far from my house." He lived in the city of Opelousas. I lived in Crowley. I'm from Crowley, Louisiana, and I stayed in my hometown. And he from his, Opelousas is his hometown. He's like, "But they got a truck driving school right around the corner from my house." I was like, "Word?" He's like, "Yeah." And he lived 15 minutes away from where we worked. So I told him, I say, "Man, bring me there. Bring me there, and I want to go check it out." So we went there. We checked it out. It's this place called Coastal. Shout out to Coastal. Shout out to Coastal Truck Driving College, Opelousas, Louisiana. We went there, and the guy was like, "Y'all looking to be students, drive truck?" Like, I was like, "I am." Dude helped me out, man. Showed me the everything I needed, man. It made me sign all kind of papers, and he kind of looked at my homeboy. He's like, "You want to sign up too?" And Derek was like, "Yeah, I guess." Like, he didn't have the intention to do it, but since he was there with me and he helped me get there, and he was like, the guy's like, "You want to sign up too?" He's like, "Yeah, I guess." So that's me and my friend journey. That's how we started, just like that. It never was really a need or like a curiosity. For me, it never was any of that. It was like, I want to make some more money. I will say this though. I will say this. It's one of the worst decisions I ever made. One of the worst decisions I ever made in my life is going to that truck driving school, driving trucks. As much as trucking has done for me, as much money, I've made millions of dollars in the trucking. I don't got millions of dollars, but I've made millions of dollars in trucking. That's one thing about it. You'll make it. You ain't gonna see it. But it's there. The potential is there. The you know it's a quick career to pick up. And there's a lot of things like that. There's HVAC, there's welding, sandblasting. There's all kind of stuff that you could have done in Louisiana. Sandblasting, you could have did that at the ports and the ships. There's, welding at the ports. You could have welded for oil companies, stuff like that. Pipe fitting, all that, man. Machinists. It's so much stuff that I could have done, and I probably should have done. But just me being around trucks every day, seeing these truck drivers, talking to them not being ashamed to say like what they make, and all of them saying the job was easy. Trucking is not easy. It's not an easy job. A lot of people have that misconstrued where they feel like all you do is drive. Man, it's one of the most stressful jobs in the world. And it's one of the only jobs where as soon as you achieve the ability to be able to do the job, you're called a professional. In anything else, you're not a professional until you put so many hours and so many years behind the learning the job. Truck drivers can literally go to school for 4 weeks, get a CDL, and then as soon as that CDL is put in your hand, you're a professional. They treat you like a professional. They hold you accountable like a professional. They prosecute you like you're a professional. A doctor has to go to school for a long time. A dentist got to go to school for a long time. Any other professional has a long time before they are called or become a professional. Not trucking. It's damn near instant, right? And man, I just gotta say that I should have done something else. Trucking is just. I'm still tired of trucking. I'm grateful. I'm thankful, but it's so much other things I could have did with my life. Like I said, I'm grateful and I'm thankful and I'm glad God allowed me to do this. God allowed me and put me in position to take care of my family and do things. I bought a house. I bought brand new cars off the lot. I've done a lot through trucking. You know what I'm saying? I traveled the whole United States. Every state that a highway is connected to in the United States, I've seen it. I've been there. All 48. I'm grateful for that. I'm thankful for that. Did I need to do that? Not necessarily, but I've done it. A lot of people can't say that, and I've done that through trucking. So there's some positives and negatives, but that's just how I feel about it. I'm still trying to get out of it. I'm still trying to, you know what I'm saying? I'm still trying to get out of trucking because I'm just not happy with it. I chased money. And my friend told me that, man. My friend Hawk, he told me that. He told me, he said, man, don't never chase money, bro. Chase what you love. Chase what you love, the money gonna come. He told me that, and I didn't listen. I was like, nah, I gotta get this money. And yeah. It is what it is. But it took us a while, man. It took us a while to get set up. A few months. We the state had to look at our finances and see if we were able to pay out of pocket for the school, or if the state could pay for the schooling. We didn't make no money, so the state paid for it. And me and Derek started at the same time. You could either go for 4 weeks if you wasn't employed. You could go for 4 weeks, 5 days a week, or you can go for 8 weekends. And we took the weekend because we had Monday through Friday jobs. We worked Monday through Friday. We was off weekends. So we went for the 8 weekends. And so it's Saturday and Sunday for 8 weekends. You become a truck driver. And we did that. We started. It was like my daughter was born October 16th, 2003. I think we started truck driving school the following weekend. I don't remember what day it was. I don't remember what day of the week it was my daughter was born, but the next week, the weekend, we started truck driving school, me and my homeboy Derek. And it was you know what I'm saying? It was a good experience. It was a real good experience. Like, we made good friends in there. We had 2 instructors in there. One of them was a veteran. They both was veteran truckers. But as far as teaching, one of them, Mike was new. Mike had been there maybe 6 months. The other guy, Dennis had been there like a couple of years. Shout out to Dennis. I don't know what he doing himself right now, but shout out to Dennis wherever you at. Dennis was like, I'm sitting down. Dennis was about this tall. Dennis was short. Bro. Dennis had to be 5 foot even. Had to be. He was a trucker. He was a hardcore trucker. He was one of those. He was just a trucker. He was a real. He had terrible jokes. He had the mullet. Derek know what I'm talking about. He was, but he was a good guy. He was a great guy, and he was in school for IT. Like he was trying to get his IT degree, and he was real good with computers, like fixing them, and like he was just real good with computers. So he was trying to transition out of that to IT, and I never forget some of the stuff he told me, man. Like when we were learning how to handle a truck, because that's the one thing he told us. Um, when we graduated, he told us that he said, now y'all gonna learn how to drive a truck. He said, wherever you go, whatever company you go to, now you're gonna learn how to drive a truck. He said, we just help you to get your CDL. That's what we taught y'all to do. Now you're gonna learn how to drive a truck. We was like, what? He's like, yeah, trucking ain't got nothing to do with what we've been doing here for the last 8 weekends. It ain't got nothing to do with driving up and down a service road. It ain't got nothing to do with backing into some cones, backing in between two sets of cones or whatever. He's like, bro, trucking is way more than y'all think. And you gotta live in the truck, and you gotta sleep in the truck, and you gotta eat on the road every day. He's like, you'll see, you'll see. But he said, bro, don't. He said trucking is a job where you can get stuck. He said if you do it too long, you'll have to do it for life. He said try not to put no more than 20 to 25 years into it. I'm 22 years in right now. He said that. He said try not to put no more than 20 to 25 years in it. He said go do something else with your life. He said it's too stressful as a job. It's very unhealthy. It's not a good job. And he said that's why I'm doing IT. Like I'm trying to get up out of this. So Dennis was a good guy, man. He was a good guy. He didn't tell us nothing wrong. He always looked out for us, and he told us the real. He didn't try to sugarcoat it or candy coat it because that was his job. He was real with us. He's like, man, you don't want to do this. He says it's a good way to make money. It's a good way to you know get your credit right, get your financial freedom, whatever. He said, but get away from this. Use it, make your money. He said, if you're gonna stay in trucking, get your own truck, own your own business, get your own truck. Don't get stuck in it. He said, because it's easy to get stuck in it. And we done the 8 weekends. Yeah, we done the 8 weekends. I got my CDL in December. Um, it was right after Christmas I got my CDL. It was like December 27th. I took the test. I took the road test and took the little pre-trip test. Took the test for my endorsements on the computer inside the DMV. Got my CDL. So I was still 20 years old. My birthday wasn't until March 3rd. So I was 20 years old. My license, I couldn't leave the state. So I could drive in the state of Louisiana, but I couldn't leave Louisiana because I was 20. I had to be 21. When I turned 21, well, what happened was like the job I had, right? Churchborn Wholesale. Like I was working, I stayed working and receiving. And when I first started that job, Churchborn Wholesale, I was working in shipping. I was filling orders, right? And then I switched. I'm not gonna get into it, but I switched from shipping to receiving. Then I went from receiving back to shipping when I got my CDL. I was trying to drive trucks for him. And I don't know, man. The guy, he didn't really want me driving trucks for, like, the supervisor. He really didn't want me to drive no trucks. Like, I think he still kind of felt some type of way about, what I'm saying? Because what happened was, they were when I was in shipping at first, it got to a point where I don't know. Maybe I guess I wasn't pulling enough orders, or my production wasn't right, or whatever. The guy never really talked to me. He didn't say like, "Yo, you need to pick it up," or "You gonna get fired," or "You gonna get laid off," or he never said nothing. He just ended up trying to fire me, right? So somebody looked out for me. Somebody told me like, "Yo, you about to get fired." And I was like, "For real?" He's like, "Yeah, you and like four other people they about to fire y'all." I was like, "For what?" Like I ain't even do nothing. He's like, "They just put you on the chopping block, bro. You about to go." So this dude, bro, this dude named Terry, man, he was working in shipping. He's I'm trying not to say no bad stuff, bro. I'm trying to tell a real good story here, and I'm trying not to, you know what I'm saying? I'm really trying. This dude Terry, he knew I was getting fired. Me and Terry would bump heads a lot, and he let it slip. Cause the dude that told me I was getting fired, he was in the same boat. They fired him too, but he was saying like, yeah, I seen the list, I seen the people. Like he's like, it's like 10 people on there, but my name on it and your name on it, and that's what they did. They fired like 5 people one Friday, and then they fired like 5 or 6 the next Friday, whatever. But Terry knew this. He knew this. He knew I was getting fired, so he was talking shit to me. He's like, "That's why you ain't about to have no job now." Like he was just like he was on some. It's so much I want to say. It's so much I want to say right now, but I'm so far removed from that. My life went a different way. I'm 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 happy. I'm good. I'm trying not to. Yo, I got some stuff I want to say, but anyway, like just hearing him say that, and then like the way he was saying stuff, like, "Yeah, you just had that daughter. That's all right. You know what I'm saying? No, yeah, yeah." He said, "Yeah, you ain't better take care of your family." Like he was talking to me like that. Like, "Yeah, you ain't better take care of your family. Like, you got a baby on the way. You ain't better do nothing. You ain't better like just really getting spicy, bro." I'm like, all right. So, um, in receiving, they had got rid of some people. They got rid of a few people, so they was short. I think they only had like 3 forklift drivers. They needed 6. So I remember going to the supervisor and receiving. I was like, "Yo, can you let me, get on receiving, whatever?" He's like, "I don't know. You know how to drive a forklift?" I said, "Bro, I can learn, dog." I said, "Give me one day. Let me work the little forklift all day. I promise you, I'll figure it out by the end of the day." He's like, "Ain't you one of whatever guys? Don't you work on shipping?" I was like, "Yeah, but they got some stuff going on over there. It's funny, bro. I'm not. They about to fire me. So why don't you help me out? Like, why don't you know?" He's like, "They about to fire you for what?" I was like, "I don't know." Now the crazy part about this is he knew. He knew that, but he had to pretend like he didn't know. He had to pretend like he didn't know. But the fact that I came to him and I said, "Hey, let me join your crew. I know you need some people. He's like, "You know how to drive that?" Because the forklift was like, it's a different, like if you ever been on a reach lift, I know a lot of y'all young, bro. Y'all probably don't know. It's like a little, it's like you got like a little, you have like a two controls. One of them is the steering, and one of them is the forward backward. Like, you know what I'm saying? You got one right here. You got one right here. So you push it forward, you're going forward, and you turn like that. But it's inverted. It's backwards. So it's just hard to steer it with them. So I got it. I got it by the end of the day. But what he had to do was, because what happened after lunch, the dude went put on the like the boss, whoever run the damn place. He went put the names on the desk. Boom. I want all these people gone today. I want them fired by the end of the day. And what they do is they meet you at the time clock, and you punch your card and they take it. They tell you you're done. You can't come back. So he he had just went in there to turn my stuff in, like with 5 names. I was one of them. So the dude in receiving, he went in there and he said, "Nah, I want him. Put him on my side. Like he gonna start with me tomorrow." So I actually got fired, right, and picked up in the same day. That's how good God is. I worked at this place for 2 years, man. a little bit over 2 years, two and a half. I worked at yep. I worked at that place for like 2.5 years, right? But I barely made it. Like in shipping, I didn't make it a year. I don't think I made it a year in shipping. I think I made like 10, 11 months. But anyway, um, they didn't know. The people in shipping didn't know. So when I came there the next day, they was like, "Big Me, what you doing here? Like, you ain't supposed to be here." I said, "What you mean I ain't supposed to be here? You ain't supposed to be here. What you talking about? How you know I ain't supposed to be here? They didn't fire you yesterday?" I said, "Nah, I ain't get fired. I'm about to go to work." So like everybody looking like, because the dude that turned my name in, the supervisor in shipping, he was telling everybody, "Yeah, I'm getting rid of him. I'm getting it." That's the type of shit that happened at that place. It was a small place in a country little town, and ain't nothing going on in that town. The best thing happened in that whole town is what going on at work. They ain't got nothing going on in that town. Trust me. Still to this day. Still to this day. Ask anybody from Southwest Louisiana. They know. So, like I said, I worked there, and stuff wasn't going well. Stuff just wasn't going well. At first it was. At first it was. But I know someone that'll see this part. They'll be able to relate to it. If you ever worked at anywhere, and if you ever worked where there was some production, or there was like some kind of, say like if you was a team or you was a part of a team, and some work had to be done, there's a thing in the office, in the warehouse, wherever, when you're working around a whole bunch of people. If there's some people that don't work and there's some people that work, there's some people that, like, the supervisor knows who's the good workers and who's not. The supervisor knows who kiss ass and who just go about their day doing their work. They know this. And I don't know why this goes on in a lot of places. The supervisor never goes to the people that don't work and try to make them pick up the slack. What they do is they see the people who work real hard, and they try to get them to do double. I don't this happens in a lot of places. I don't know why, but it happens in a lot of places. And it happened at this warehouse. And that's the one thing I didn't like. Everybody was laid back. Everybody was laid back and chill in receiving. But the supervisor, he would always, because I was the youngest. I was the youngest. Like, I started working at that place. I was 18 when I started working there. And I was the youngest person. And like when I started working and receiving, he would always like, "Yeah, you lazy. You don't do no work. You need to do this. Come on, let's go. Let's roll." He would always do that to me. And one day he kind of said like I was the weakest link. I didn't do nothing. So we had a paper, and like everything we did, we had to write it on that paper. So, like I said, I'm young, I'm sensitive. One day he kind of told some stuff about me. He kind of said some stuff about me, and I went in the racks and I ain't come out. I didn't come out for no breaks. I didn't come out for lunchtime, nothing. I went back there and I worked 10 hours straight. When I clocked out that day and gave him my paper, the paper was full of everything I done, front and back, full. And I did that to prove a point. What I actually did was shoot myself in the foot. Because when he seen that I was able to work like that, he expected me to work like that all the time. So that was the clash we had from that day until I quit that job. He knew I was capable of doing that. But you know what I'm saying? He didn't never say, "Hey man, just do half of this." He didn't never say that. Once he seen that was possible, he didn't ever say, "Well, hey, why y'all can't work like this? Why y'all can't work like Demetri?" He didn't never do that. He just will always come to me and be like, "Yeah, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to do that." I'm like, "Bro, everybody needs to do their part, and I won't have to do all that." But he didn't see it that way. So by the time we got out of truck driving school, and I went back to shipping. I went back to shipping, and I only worked there for 2 weeks. That's it, 2 weeks. And the guy, he still had, like, he didn't want me driving trucks. Like, he tried to give me a little test run. He didn't want me to drive. I wasn't really ready to drive either. Like, I had got my CDL, but the driving that they done in the trucks they had, they weren't really that good trucks, and like I just wasn't ready for it. So I'm not gonna completely blame him. But when those 2 weeks that I did that, my supervisor in receiving, he let go of 3 people. So I say he let go of 3 people. He fired 2 and 1 quit. So then he was telling them in the office, like, yeah, I need Demetrius to come back. He got to come back. Like, I'm shorthanded. So put that with the fact that the dude in shipping really wasn't fucking with me like that no more, because I had already left him. Like, he tried to can me, and I got around it. He took that personal. He didn't like that. So he didn't really want me to drive. Like I said, he gave me a chance because they were short on truckers, and the people in the office said, well, he got a license, give him a shot. So the people over him told him to do that. So he tried to do it, but his mind was made up. He wasn't gonna let me drive. That's what that was. So I'm like, all right, whatever. I I went back to receiving. The part that pissed me off was, like I said, I was making $7.59 an hour driving forklift. This ain't no huge money, but I went from I can't believe I'm saying this. I went from making $7.59 an hour to making $9.50 an hour to be a truck driver. $9.50 an hour. This is 2004, Southwest Louisiana. Just take it for what it is. So for 2 weeks, I made $9.50 an hour, and then I went back to receiving, and they changed my payback. They changed my payback to $7.59. So now I'm hot. I'm pissed. I'm like, bro, I got to get up out of here. And it's messed up because even though they put me back in receiving, they kept asking me to drive trucks. So they felt like, I know you don't want to do that, so we're going to get you out of the warehouse, right? We're going to get you out of the warehouse, let you go do some hot shot runs. So they'll load like one store on a bobtail, like on a small, like a bobtail's like a U-Haul truck. It looked like a U-Haul truck, but if we had like some that was like refrigerated, they would load a store on there, just one stop. It may be 500 cases, but it's just one store. Whereas a big truck had maybe 18 stores on it, right? You had a full day worth of work. And I would have maybe 4 hours worth, maybe 3 hours. It just depends. They would put that shit on the truck and be like, hey, go deliver this. Not for no $7.59 an hour. Hey, man, look, you get out the warehouse. I'm not doing it. Y'all not about to play me like that. So I remember somebody had called me. A job had called me. Warner Enterprises. I don't know. Y'all probably see them on the road every now and then. The blue trucks. When we got our CDLs, the first day of class, when we were in CDL school, truck driving school, they made us do like 10 applications for all the major companies, right? So we done all, and these people reached out to us after we got our CDL. So that's how that happened. So the only person called me back was Warner. Warner Enterprises was the only one that called me back. Stevens Transport called my boy Derek. They called him back. So I went to Warner. Derek went to Stevens, but Derek left before me. I had to wait till I turned 21. Derek was ready to go. So Derek left. I left in April of 2004. I think Derek left in February. So when Derek left, boy, I really didn't want to be at that job. When my boy left, I was just like, damn, bro, like it just, I really wasn't feeling it. And I quit. I ended up quitting in April. They sent me a bus ticket. I took the bus. They had a terminal in Dallas, Warner Enterprises. I took the bus to Dallas, and I'll never forget that day, man. I'll never forget that day I got on that bus to go to work. Bro, that day, I had never been away like that. I never been away like that. I never went away for work, you know. And I was married, had 2 children, had a newborn. Remember, like I say, it was My daughter was born October 2003, October 16th, 2003. This was April 2004. And I remember my wife brought me to, my ex-wife brought me to the bus station, right? And just saying goodbye to her and my son. And my daughter, like, my daughter, she a baby, man. Like, she ain't know what was going on. And I cried, man. I was so hurt. And my mom, like, the bus came early, right? The bus it just came early. Like, say, like, come on, start loading up. Load. It wasn't even many people, right? A Greyhound bus. Man, got on the bus. Took off early, too. Bus took off, like, 5 minutes early. That bus took off. So my mom, like, she knew I was leaving, so she drove over there to, like, say goodbye to me. When she pulled up, she asked my ex-wife, she's like, he gone already? She's like, yeah, he gone. They stood there and cried together. I'm like, bro. Mind you, at this time, right, I didn't even have a cell phone, right? I didn't have one at the time. So I'm just out there, bro. I went, no, I did have a cell phone. But the cell phone, it was a Sprint phone, and it only had like so many minutes, and like I couldn't use it like that. Like, and the phone didn't work everywhere, so like I couldn't even use it. Like, I really couldn't use it. Like, it was just emergency only. So I just went, took the bus to Dallas, went to the terminal. I called my cousin. My cousin, she lived in Dallas. She came pick me up. She picked me up and brought me from the bus station to the terminal. And that's how my trucking journey began. I worked at this company, Warner. I worked there for a year and a half. And hold on one second. Hold on. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm trying to do this, and the kids upstairs cutting up. But anyway, I went to Warner, and I done my orientation. It took like 3 days. Man, it took like 3 days. After the orientation, I went on the road with a trainer, right? So I went on the road with a trainer. Um, his name was Emilio. Both I had two trainers. You had to do 275 hours with each guy, right? Or girl, or like whoever your trainer was. You had to do 275 hours with each trainer. So my first trainer, his name was Emilio. I don't know what it was with him, but he's an ass. He at first he's an asshole. So he's an owner operator, and he was like, "Yo, this truck is my baby. This is like, he's just laying down all kind of rules, whatever." And I guess that's something you got to do, depending on what kind of students he had. But he didn't even try to get to know me. He didn't ask me no question. He just started telling me all kind of shit. He's like, "I got two phones. This is my phone. These ain't no pay phones. You can't use them. I better not ever catch you on them." Like, he's just an asshole, bro. I was like, all right. So we set out on the road, and he had a 13 speed. I think he had 13 speed. I only knew how to drive a 10, so I was struggling to drive his truck. So he would be pissed, like he was so mad about me grinding the gears and stuff. I'm like, bro, I'm learning how to do this. I don't know how to really drive this motherfucker. Like, you know what I'm saying? So he, whatever. One night I was driving. I never forget this, bro. One night I was driving, and like he would go to sleep. Like he'd be like, he would get some long ass loads, bro. He would get some loads. You know what I'm saying? 600, 700, 800 miles. So he would put me to drive, and he would go to sleep at night. So he wasn't really teaching me nothing. He's like, yo, wake me up when you get to exit 300. Wake me up. That's what he would do. So I just be driving. He'd be back there asleep. So one night I was driving and I was just coasting, bro. We was going towards El Paso, and I started to come up to this damn this construction zone, bro. So I'm trying to downshift. I still having trouble driving the truck. It's fairly easy to upshift. Downshifting is tough. I'm trying to downshift, and I'm grinding. He got up fussing like, man, what the fuck? What you doing to my truck? So I'm trying to slow down, bro, because I'm I'm coming up to this construction zone. They like 25 miles an hour. There's a whole bunch of workers. It's nighttime. They got these big ass blinding spotlights on the, you know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to get right. He pissed. Before you know it, I'm like, I'm rolling through the shit, and I see all kind of shit start getting thrown from out the bunk. Plastic forks and spoons and styrofoam plates and cups. I'm like, what the? So I rolled through the construction zone. Right when I got out of it, I pulled off to the shoulder of the road. I kind of shouldn't have did that because I could have flipped the truck because it was a low shoulder. I'm talking about we like boom, right? So he's like, man, what you doing, man? You messing up my truck. I say, bro, listen, bro, we gotta get something straight right now, bro. This right here, this can't happen, bro. He's like, what the you talking about? Like, who you think you talking to? I said, who you think you talking to? I said, bro, I know I'm young, but I'm still a man, bro. You gotta show me some respect. Like, we not about to do this. This ain't happening. Bro, if you don't know how to drive the truck, maybe trucking ain't for you. Maybe you don't know what you're doing. I say, I don't know what I'm doing, bro. I'm not going to even shy away from that. I don't know what I'm doing. But you're my trainer. You're my instructor. You're supposed to be helping me. You sleep. I say, you back there asleep, bro. You can't wake up and get mad. And I say, bro, all that what you're doing, that's uncalled for, bro. Man, no, man, you got to learn how to drive. I say, if I'm learning how to drive by myself, what I need you for? I say, now, until you learn how to show me some respect, you drive this motherfucker. I'm going to sleep. I parked. We had this little computer thing. It's like a little keyboard thing called Qualcomm. I logged out that motherfucker. I got in the bunk. So he got up. He was pissed. He got up. He put that bitch in gear, hitting the gears fast. Whoa, he mad, bro. And he driving. He called somebody talking shit. His brother-in-law, somebody. He called somebody talking. Yeah, this motherfucker, you're not driving. I fell asleep. I woke up in the morning. He driving tired as a mother, tired. And I watched him. I sat up and I watched him. I got in the passenger seat. I just stared at his ass. He looked at me. We stopped, got some fuel, and we took a shower. And he was still in the shower. I finished. I got out. He was still in the shower. He came out. He's like, man, you want something to eat? I was like, nah, I ain't got no money. He's like, I'll buy it for you. No, I'm good. We got back in the truck. He's like, man, you need to call home. You ain't talked to nobody in like 5 days. You need to call your wife or your kid. I said, nah, I'm good. He's like, you can use my phone. Like he changed. Like he was on some different shit. I was like, nah. So we went done the load, and then we went from there. We went to Austin. He lived in Austin, Texas. So we went to Austin. He went home. He went home for the weekend. He put me in a hotel. When he came back and we went back on the road, he apologized. He was like, he said, man, I'm sorry, man. I lost my head. I don't know. I shouldn't have said all that stuff, man. He's like, but it's a stressful job, and This ain't Warner truck. This is my truck. I own this truck. Like, anytime you mess up something, it's coming out my pocket. Like, they ain't gonna take care of that and this and that. And I said, well, if you care about the truck more than you care about the student or teaching the student, maybe you shouldn't be a owner operator. Like, you need to consider that. He's like, yeah, you're right. I do need to consider it because it costs me money to repair it and they don't help me with none of that. I was like, well, that's a whole nother thing. You need to figure that out. I say, but if you don't want me on the truck, man, drop me back to Dallas. We passing Dallas, going back to Oklahoma. Just drop me in Dallas. He's like, no, man. You right, bro. I need to show you and this and that. So that was cool. That changed. I got to 275 hours, and I went home for a week after that. Went home for a week. I'll never forget when I got home. When I got home, man, my daughter was just looking at me like she didn't know who I was. Like, I had been gone for so long. So she's just looking at me like, it took her a while to kind of like warm up to me, you know what I'm saying? But, and that happened like every time I came home. But that was my first time coming home. I stayed for 7 days. I went back on the road, done my 275 hours with this other guy named Carlos, right? Carlos was cool. He was cool. He was real cool. He was a cool ass dude. He started to act funny when it was time for me to get off the truck. So he had a Super 10 speed, regular old truck, whatever. Just a Super 10 transmission. I had never drove one like that before, but that one was way easier than a 13. So I got the hang of it. I'm driving. He would drive, man. Carlos would drive maybe 6 hours, 6 to 8 hours. I would always drive my whole 11. He would just drive like a little bit. He never really drove like that. That's why he didn't make no money. But when I got on the truck, I was driving so much, he was making a whole bunch of money. We was in a different state every day. So the guy the first guy, Emilio, he done an account. It was Dollar General dedicated. So we would pick up the loads in Ardmore, Oklahoma, and they would always deliver in Texas somewhere. We never delivered in Oklahoma. It would always be in Texas. And he would get long runs. He would go to Laredo, El Paso, like you know what I'm saying? He would get those long ass runs. And we did that like every day until I was off the truck. Carlos was a regional. He was a Southwest regional driver. So he would go all kind of places, but he was home every weekend. So he would do like a few Texas runs, maybe Louisiana, and then go home. The longest we went was Georgia. We went somewhere in Georgia, but the truck never stopped, right? He would drive, I would drive. He would drive, I would drive. So he started making so much money with me on the truck. He ended up telling me that. He's like, bro, you one of the best students I ever had. He's like, you drive all your time. You don't get sleepy. You don't get tired. I'm like, man, people don't drive all their time. He's like, nah, sometimes like me and my trainee, we sleep at the same time. Like, whatever. So he was able to sleep while I would drive, right? So the dispatch called him and they say, hey, brother, dude got like 240 hours. Like, it's almost time for him to get off the truck. Do you approve of him getting off the truck? He told him no. He's like, I don't think he's ready. Because he wanted to keep me. He wanted to keep me like 2 more weeks. That all I needed was like 3 days. He wanted to keep me like 2 more weeks. He's like, no, I don't think he's ready. He ain't driving good. He ain't this, he ain't that. So the dispatcher was mad. The dispatcher like, bro, if he not driving up to par, why you ain't been tell us that? Like, how long he do put in 200 something hours. When you was gonna say he wasn't like, when he couldn't drive. So he said, what is he having trouble with? He didn't know what to tell him. Nah, I'm listening to him. He think I'm asleep. I'm listening to him talk to the dude. And the truck so quiet, because the truck was off. Where we was delivering at, the truck couldn't idle. So the truck was off. So I'm hearing the dude in his cell phone telling him this. He's like, I mean, he's okay, but I don't think he can back up. Like, I never let him back up. So the dude's like, well, test him today. See if he could back up. So we went to the truck stop, and he was asking me to back up. And I was backing up. I was doing all that. He was like, yeah, I backed up to a spot, and I think I pulled up twice. He's like, yeah, you shouldn't have to pull up at all, man. Like, He's like, yeah, you ain't ready. You ain't ready. So he told him I couldn't back up. He told him all kind of shit. They didn't believe him. So they called me. They called myself. I didn't want to answer that shit because I'm like, damn, I only got like 100 minutes and shit like that. It's just this 2004, like, yeah, they had minutes. You know, free night and weekend start at 9 p.m. That's what we was on back then. So they called me. They was like, man, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm good. It's like, do you feel like you ready to get out there and go make some money? I said, yeah, I'm ready. He's like, yeah, Carlos, he said like you're not a good driver and this and that, but we kind of, he said Carlos is not a guy that's afraid to talk. So he's had people that weren't good. He told us on like the second, third day, like you've been with Carlos for like 2 weeks and he ain't said nothing. So we just want to make sure everything was all right. I say, yeah. I'll say this. He did say he was making a lot of money with me. He said he made the most money he ever made with me. And they laughed. They was like, okay, okay. He's like, man, well, look, bro, you want to just do another week? I said, yeah, I'll do another week. He's like, okay, after this week, we'll ship you back home. And when you come back out, you'll go on a truck retrieval. You'll go get your truck. I was like, all right. And that's what happened. I got my truck. I did that, and then I got my truck, and I was on my way with Warner. When I first started with Warner, I had my dispatcher name was something Shoemaker. What was his name? Something Shoemaker. But I only had him for like 2 weeks. He was cool too. He was a good ass. Like he would ask me where I wanted to go, what I wanted to do. He would like say like, okay, I got this picking up here, I got this picking up there. Which way you want to go? You want to go east or west? Like he would do shit like that, and they didn't have to do that. They had load coordinators and load planners that would tell the dispatch, hey, this is what's best for this driver. This is what he should pick up. This is what he should do. And that's how you would get your load. But he wasn't like that. He would allow us to get what we wanted and go where we wanted to go. What do you want? Hold on one second. Hold on one second. So I only had him for 2 weeks. After him, after him, they gave me this dude named Paul Castle. Paul Castle, the Punisher, like the Punisher, Frank Castle. This dude name was Paul Castle, and he spelled it Kastl. I never forget that. Paul Castle. I thought Paul was cool. I ain't gonna lie, I really thought the dude was cool. Like we never had an issue. One time I went home. We never had an issue. I thought he was cool. One time I went home and I went home and my kids were sick. Like I'll never forget this. Like I went home. I remember one time I went home. This is the effect that trucking has on you. Like I remember one time I went home and my daughter, like my ex wife was teaching our daughter how to walk. Right, I wasn't there for that, and she was teaching her how to walk. And I remember one time she was trying to walk and she fell and hit her head. Like I almost cried, man, because we had these hard ass marble floors, and if you hit the floor, you heard it like you heard it. And my daughter head hit the floor, and I'm like, oh my god, like it made me tight. I was like, oh shit. So you know what I'm saying? Like one time I came home, and I remember we walked in the apartment, we walked in the house, and her mom just walked to the middle of the damn floor and put her down, standing up in the middle of the floor. And she walked away from it. And I was so traumatized. I was so scared. I'm like, yo, she gonna fall. Like, so I was like, yo, I dropped my bag and I was about to run to my daughter, but my daughter ran to me. And I cried. I was so, I don't even know. I don't even know how to explain how I felt. I was happy that she was walking, but I was hurt. I missed her first steps, you know? And there's people that'll tell you like, man, you don't gotta apologize for working. You was working, you did your thing, man. I traded that in, bro, just to see her walk for the, you know what I'm saying? Take her first steps. Like that was something I missed. I didn't want to miss that, and I did. Being on the road, That's the thing. Trucking gives a lot, but it takes a lot. Trucking takes a lot from you. It does. And for anybody that says they don't regret some of that, missing some of that, or not being around for some of that, I don't know what to call it, because I would trade it all in, man. Like I've had a pretty successful trucking career, but there's some things that I miss I can't get back. That's just the reality of it. I don't like that. But um one time I went home and my kids were sick. Like they were sick. I went home for maybe 3 or 4 days, right? So my kids were sick. My son and my daughter, they coughing, barking. You could hear the coughs in their chest. I'm like, and they young, man. They, you know what I'm saying? They babies. So I remember telling their mom, like, yo, make an appointment. Bring them to the doctor. She's like, okay. So after my home time was up, Paul was trying to get me a load. So he gave me a load, and I had to go check on it. Right, it was past Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I stayed like an hour away from Baton Rouge, so I'm going to check on the load. They like, yo, that's not ready. So I went 3 days in a row. On the third day, I'm like, bro, what's up with the load? Am I getting the load or not? The dude said the material not ready. We haven't even received the whole shipment of stuff to ship out. It's not ready. I don't know when it's going to be ready. So you do what you want to do. We told your dispatch that, but they keep sending you here every day. He said, I don't know when it's going to be ready. I'm like, all right, whatever. So on the fourth day, Paul sent me to the place. Dude said, man, it ain't ready. Paul said, okay, I'm going to get you another load right around the corner from there. That's ready. You're going to take that. You're going to go up to, I think it was Iowa. I was going to go to. So I'm like, all right, cool. That's a nice little run. Louisiana to Iowa, I'll take that. So the night before, I didn't take a shower. The night before I was home, I didn't take a shower. So I took a shower at the truck stop out there where I was. That day, my wife, she brought the kids to the doctor. So she didn't. I didn't have no cell phone. Like that Sprint phone was turned off. Like it was turned off at this time. So I didn't have a cell phone, but I gave her the number to the dispatch and everything. If ever she needed to tell me something, they would put the message in the Qualcomm. I could read it. So she called and she talked to Paul, and she said, "Hey, I need to speak to my husband." He said, "What's wrong? What's going on?" She said, "Tell him it's an emergency. The kids, they've been hospitalized. They gotta go into the hospital. They both got pneumonia, and my son had pneumonia and bronchitis." So he's like, "All right, I'll tell him." He never told me. He never told me. So when I got out of the shower, I got something to eat out of the truck stop. I got in the truck. I'm about to go get this load, right? So I'm looking at the Qualcomm, and my wife, ex-wife, had called them like at 9 o'clock, 9, 10 o'clock. This is 12:40, like 12:40 something. I get a message. The dude say, "Hey man, you need to call home." I say, "What's wrong?" And he said, and the guy said, "Man, I think something's going on. Your kids are sick or something." I'm like, I know they sick, but all right. It's 12 something. Like I didn't know what was going on, so I got on a payphone. It's a payphone. It's 2004. I got on a payphone. I called home. Matter of fact, no, I'm sorry. That wasn't even 2004. That was 2005. That was 2005. That was like winter time, like February, March 2005, right? I'm on the phone. I'm like, I call home. My dad answered. I'm like, nah, why he at my house? Like, he's like, hey, where you been? What's going on with you? I said, I was getting ready to leave the state. I'm getting ready to go to work. Like, I took a shower and stuff, got me something to eat. Man, we've been calling you since 9 o'clock this morning. It's almost 1 o'clock. Your kids going to the hospital. They being hospitalized because they sick. I'm like, yo, like it kind of like, I'm like, what? He's like, yeah. My dad's like, yeah, I had to curse somebody out, man. the dude didn't want to let us talk to you, and then he said like you've been home long enough. You need to go on the road. You need to make some money and stuff like. I said, ain't no way. So when I talked to my ex, I was like, yo, what my dad talking about? She was crying, of course. She was like, we've been calling you and we was trying to get you on the phone, and this dude Paul, he didn't want to give you the phone. He kept saying that you couldn't go back home. Like what? I said, you sure you talked to him? You told him everything? Like the kids was going to the hospital? She's like, yeah, we told him. He said, like, well, as long as y'all with the kids, they'll be okay. He need to go. And he been home too long. He's only supposed to be home for 4 days. He been home for 8 days, and he got to go to work. He got to start making some money. She said after he said that, your daddy got on the phone and your daddy just start cursing him out because that was the end of it. So I'm like, I'm pissed, right? I'm mad as hell. So I called the fleet manager because that's just the way Warner had their shit structured. You had your dispatch, right? And then you have a fleet manager. You know what I'm saying? Then you got somebody over the fleet manager. Like everybody is just outsourced, right? So the fleet manager, like he got like 3 or 4 dispatchers, and each dispatcher got like 10 drivers. Like, no, it's 7. It's 7 dispatchers, right? And it's 10 drivers per dispatch, right? And the fleet got 70 drivers in it. So that's how it was going at the time. So I called him, this dude Tony. His name was Tony something. I called him. I was like, bro, Paul didn't tell me my kids are sick. Paul didn't tell me my kids were sick. My family called, and because I don't have a cell phone, my family called to tell him like, yo, Demetrius need to come home, whatever. I said, I think he was trying to let me leave the state, because once I would have left the state, y'all wouldn't let me turn back around. He's like, okay, I'll look into it. I'll see what's going on. So I sat there in the truck and I'm looking. I waited like an hour. Nobody, you know what I'm saying? Nobody sent me no message. So I headed back home. And on the way home, Tony sent me a message. He's like, yeah, go home, be with your family. Keep us updated. Let us know what's happening. Bro, after that, I could not stand Paul. Me and Paul just it was just a high bye after that. I couldn't even stand that dude. And that's when I officially got my cell phone. That's when I got a Verizon wireless cell phone in 2005. That's when I got my first cell phone. The cell phone I had before that was my ex-wife cell phone, and I just took it with me because I was going on the road. And like I said, it didn't have but like 100 minutes. Like it didn't really have nothing on there, man. Like I don't know if y'all remember the cell phone plans back then. They was hell. They was crazy. But yeah, man. I remember one time I was trying to quit, right? So I was putting in applications and I got another job. This is my second truck driving job that I got. I got another job, and I was trying to quit that job. And I remember I think I was in Iowa, and I was calling the dude because I had an interview. But the dude told me on the phone, like, bro, if you just come to the interview, you hired. I'm gonna hire you, like, for real. I was like, all right. I said, but I'm on the road. I need to figure out how I'm gonna get home. So I told the dude that I quit. I was like, bro, I quit, bro. You need to route me to Dallas so I could drop the truck off, get me a bus ticket, and go. You know what I'm saying? Go back home. So Paul was in so much shit. He was in so much trouble because the more people quit, the more it goes against the dispatch. Like so people say, I'm quitting. Why you quitting? Me and the dispatch ain't seeing eye to eye. Me and the dispatch we're not G'ing. So they dock them points, take their bonuses, all kind of stuff. So he was in some shit with a whole bunch of his drivers. So now I'm quitting, right? And he was upset. He was like, bro, why you want to quit, bro? Like I say, bro, because you not doing right by me. You're not. I say, and excuse me, you pull that stuff, bro, where you didn't tell me my kids were sick. He's like, man, that was months ago, man. Why you still worry about that? Like everybody's fine, everybody's safe. We got past that, everything's cool. I said, nah, it's not cool. I'm still tripping on that. I'm still pissed by that. So he got mad. He's like, He's like, all right, fuck it. You want to quit? Bring the truck to Springfield, Ohio. Bring the truck there. Drop it off there. You catch a bus from there. I said, bro, why would I catch a damn bus from Ohio to Louisiana? I said, bro, I don't. That bus ticket would have been like $600 or $700. I was like, bro, I'm not about to do that. The bus ticket from Dallas to my hometown was like $80. I'm like, bro, get me to Dallas. Let me turn the truck in and no, I ain't doing that. You gonna do it the hard way. Since it's gonna be my ass, it's gonna be your ass too. I hung up the phone. I was like, bro, this dude really is an asshole. He's a real asshole, bro. So I'm like, all right. I called him. I said, hey, bro, don't worry about it, bro. I ain't quitting. He's like, you're not gonna quit? I was like, no. He's like, see, I knew you'd see it my way. Thank you, bro. I'm gonna take care of you though. I'm gonna make sure you're straight. I said, all right. See, when I wanted to quit, I was at first, before I was gonna quit, I was asking them to do like a Dollar General dedicated or a regional. If I could have got on those accounts, I could have went home every weekend. That would have been a little better because I really didn't want to quit the job. But they didn't want to do that. Every time I would say, man, look, I've been out. Y'all told me to do this. If I worked over the road for 6 months, then I could jump another account. I said, it's been a year. When I made 6 months, y'all said, no, you got to do a year. I said, it's been a year. Now y'all saying, oh, we ain't got that. But the thing with the company is they try to keep anybody that drive trucks know, if you on the road and you actually go, they try to keep you there. There's no exit strategy for that. They try to keep you over the road because they don't have a lot of over the road drivers. That's what they need. So I'm like, bro, I'm gone. Like, y'all ain't got nothing for me. In the moment where I said I was quitting, all that shit just magically opened up. Oh, we got this. Oh, we got that. I said, no, I don't want none of that. I don't want it now. I'm gone. I got another job. So that's what made him mad. He's like, man, fuck it. You gonna catch a bus here. You gonna go here. You gonna do that. I'm like, bro. So that's what happened. That's what ended up happening. I went and the weekend was coming. So I think I got to Oklahoma. I think I took a load to Oklahoma and the weekend was coming. So when the weekend came, I said that. I was like, bro, I'm going to go to Dallas and I'm going home. He told the weekend dispatch, whatever you do, don't send him to Texas. Send him up north. And you know what I'm saying? So he left for the weekend and I told the weekend dispatch, I said, hey man, I got an emergency at home. I need to go home, so I need to go to Dallas. He's like, all right, cool. He got me a load from Oklahoma City to Dallas. I did that shit, dropped that truck, and that was the end of that. That was the end of my first truck driving job. I got out of that shit quick. And it was like, when I started that job, they was paying 26 cents a mile. I could break it down to you, but that's just what it is. They was paying 26 a mile, and I think 3 months after I started, I got 28 cents a mile. You have to hustle to make money, bro. But you made money, but it's just like, I went from making $1,000 a month to $1,000 a week. I really couldn't complain at the time. At the time, there really wasn't nothing I could say about it. But I'm like, nah, I got to get up out of this. You know what I'm saying? So my second truck driving job, it was at this company called John & John, and it was in my hometown. And it was an okay job. It was okay. But I don't know, man. The pay wasn't right. They had too much. They honored seniority a little bit too much, bro. They put your paperwork in like an office where they had like cubby holes and they had your name, and the drivers were going there and they would look at your load, look at your stuff. And if they seen your load and they felt like your load was better than theirs, they'd go in the office talking shit like, why he got this load? He just started. Give him the bullshit. Give me the good. And the people would switch it. They would switch it. They tried to do the right thing, but it just, the system was so screwed up. And I'm talking about, this is dudes that been there 8 years, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Somebody just starting, somebody just got 6 months in, whatever. They just really wouldn't honor that. They would just be like, yeah, man, this guy, he talking shit, man. So it don't even have to be a good low. If they felt like it was something you didn't deserve, they would bitch and get it. That's just what they did, and I got tired of that shit. The dude John Q, that was his name. John, his name was John Quibido. That was his name. I think it's John Quibido. They used to call him John Q. He was like a sheriff or a cop. He was something like that, and he ran the damn place like it was a damn precinct. Like the dude piss tested me twice at the facility. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just crazy shit, man. I told the dude, I was like, bro, I don't smoke no weed and stuff like that. And, I remember my cousin was trying to get on. I tried to get him on in the tank washing spot. So when I turned in his app and my name was on the app, he went run the damn app and he seen my cousin had like charges and stuff. He's like looking at he's like Demetrius, this application you bought me. You know this guy? I said, yeah, I know him. That's my family. I grew up with him, whatever. He's like, you grew up with this guy? I was like, yeah. I said, what's the problem? He's like, I ain't gonna be able to do this. I ain't gonna be able to get him on here. I ain't gonna be able to do. I said, bro, you got people in there with charge. You got people in there, like, what you talking about? He didn't want to do it. But then the next day he piss test me. Like, what you doing? Like it's stuff like that where I just like, bro, I gotta get away from this one. The first local job I had was this company called Lafayette Woodworks, and I worked there for 5 years. I worked there for 5 years till I got laid off. That was around the time PlayStation 3 came out. When did PlayStation 3 come out? Like 2008? I want to say 2008. I don't think it was 2006. I think it was 2008. But I remember I worked there till 2010. And that was my last little box truck, like dry van. After that, I started tankers in 2011 because I got laid off in December. I got laid off in December of 2010. And the company was just tanking, man. So the company, it was a building material company. So it's like a company that sold doors, windows, crown moldings, roofing, stuff like that. And the company really it really done really well after Hurricane Katrina. After Hurricane Katrina, everybody was rebuilding. Well, Rita and Katrina, people was just rebuilding. Like a lot of people didn't leave there. There's people that got displaced. There's got people that left and didn't come back. But a lot of people rebuilt. And that's what we took advantage of when I worked with that company. I'm talking about like they were selling millions of dollars of merchandise every month for like 2 years straight. And whenever everybody rebuilt and everything was good and people had settled in, the money dropped off. So instead of them adjusting, instead of them saying like, your business not the same because everybody's straight now, they just start laying people off. Talking about we not performing, we not like business ain't like what it used to be. So they just start laying people off. They never wanted to take a step back to normal, which was what they was making before the hurricanes even hit. They just started laying people off. And the job pissed me off because they laid me off. I had the highest damn CDL over there. I had a class A. Some of them guys had class B. A lot of them dudes had chauffeur's license. I had a class A with a hazmat. And they laid me off. They kept 2 dudes with chauffeur's license, but laid me off. All right. I'll never forget that either, man. I remember they started laying people off. They were laying so many people off. And I remember when it was my turn, they pulled all of us. It's like a whole bunch of us, like even people from the office. They pulled us in and they sat us in this room. And the dude, these are some people, some bigwigs, man. They came from Houston. And they was like, look, we tried everything, man. We tried to price match some stuff. We tried to stretch our sales to other places where we never sold, and we tried everything to keep this thing going, but it's a sinking ship, and it ain't. We can't do nothing for it. So basically, everybody in this room, they job don't exist no more. And I was sitting in there. Now I remember this lady, one of my friends, his wife, she was up in there. I remember she just belted out a cry. Like, I'll never forget that, man. I was like, damn, man. Like, I didn't care. because I knew it was coming. Like I knew it was coming. This when the guy came, the guys from corporate came. They asked my supervisor, his dumb ass. They asked him, like out of all the drivers he had left, right? They asked him, who out of the drivers and the helpers, they said, who do you need to run shipping? Like if shipping just had to run on the minimal drivers and helpers, who would you keep and who would you let go? And he named 2 drivers and 2 helpers, and they kept them and they let everybody else go. But karma is what it is. The energy, everything in it, whatever you put out, you get back. When we got laid off, he got laid off too. He was in the room with us, so he told them, like, it's like, who you want to let go? Like, who could run shipping? Who could work for shipping and run, and who like they could do without? He said it. He said, I would get rid of Gerald and Demetrius. Why he said that, I don't know. Is it because we were the last 2 black guys? I don't know. Yeah, leave that to you to figure out. But he said that, and when they pulled us all in that room, they pulled his ass in there too, and he got laid off. We all got laid. He said, that man said everybody in this room job is basically non-existent. And I remember, like I say, my friend Bo, his wife, she just belted out a cry. She just started crying so hard. And I was like, damn, bro, like, I'm not going to lie. I needed that, though. God, that had to happen like that. Because I wasn't going to leave that job. Like, I had plenty of times to leave the job, and I didn't. I was too comfortable. I stayed. I wasn't making good money at that job. Like it was so much politics at that job. It was so much shit, racism. It was bad at the job. And I should have left, but I didn't. And God separated me from that job. That's one of the best layoffs I ever had from that job. And it was just bad because it was December 1st. Like, you got Christmas in 24 days. And that's what I remember that lady was saying it outside. When she got outside, it's like, why are you crying? Like, why you like, because they gave us money. They gave us a severance package. They gave us a lot of shit. And she was like, it's just like, what are we going to do? Christmas is right there. Like, what we going to do? And like, well, they're going to give you money and stuff like that. Well, after Christmas, what about January? Like, what are we going to do? She was worried about it like that. I wasn't even thinking about it like that. But, you know, it was what it was. What's up, Lucky? Lucky in the house. What you doing in here, Lucky? Don't you got a city to run? Don't you got a city to ruin? Oh my gosh. What's up with you, Lucky? How you feeling? Welcome in, welcome in. I'm just breaking down my trucking journey. Somebody, one of my friends, I call him a friend. He just recently got his CDL, and he was asking me like, bro, what's your story? Like, what's your trucking story? So, you know, I'm just doing this right now. But after that, in January 2011, I started my tanker run, and I worked tankers. From 2011 to 2022. That's how long I done tankers. That was my favorite trucking, tankers. Like, I love tankers, man. Chemicals, gas, diesel, crude oil, lube oil, antifreeze, chemicals, man. I miss it. I miss it. Right now I drive containers, but man, tankers is just the best. I miss tankers. I miss it. I ain't even fronting. I miss it. I remember I worked at this was it Quality? I think it was called Quality. My first tanker job. I think it was called Quality. And they had this dude, man, this black dude named Daryl. He worked in the dispatching room, right? They call it the war room, but it was him and 3 white ladies, right? He loved these ladies, bro, and he was the black guy. And he in there with them, and nobody else was in it. It was just him and them. So anytime it was a young white girl, it was a middle-aged white girl, and it was an older white woman, right? and he would flirt with him. He was caking. He was up in there caking. I used to watch him, and I went up in there, and the little young white chick, me and her would talk all the time. She like brothers. Her boyfriend was black, so he would pull up. He would pull up to the damn terminal, like banging loud music to pick her up. Daryl didn't like that, but when he started to see me talk to her all the time, right? He didn't like that. He didn't like that. Like at one time I was talking to her, he's like, "Man, you need to go get that load, man. You gonna be late, man." I said, "Bro, that thing 24 hours, bro." He's like, "That you gonna take the whole 24 hours? Go get the load." He was the type of dude, bro. Like he would buy them girls lunch, like every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. He bought them lunch. Tuesday and Thursday they bought their own lunch, but he was just caking, man. He was just caking so hard for them hoes, and he wasn't even this close. He wasn't even this close to getting none. They were just using him. You know what I'm saying? And I say using him, but he was putting himself out there to be used. He was just bad, bro. I never liked him. Because he thought I wanted something I wasn't even worried about. I didn't want none of that. He thought I was trying to, you know what I'm saying? He thought I was trying to mac. I was just talking to the girl. Like, it's not like I went to talk to the girl. One day I was in there and she started to talk to me. And she was like, she asked me where I was from. I told her, she's like, "Oh yeah, my boyfriend from Rain." Like, I'm from Crowley, and Rain is like 5 minutes away. So I was like, "Yeah, that's how we started talking and stuff like that." The job was in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, though, and that's how, you know what I'm saying? He was just on some different shit. But I went there for a little while. Then after that, I went to this place, CW Transport, where I done LPG, liquid petroleum gas. That was a good job too. I like that. But the supervisor over there, one of them, I'm not gonna say what one of them is, but the other one, he was a junkie, bro. That dude was a drunk junkie. He didn't know how to talk to people. He would talk to me all crazy and stuff. I got fired from that job. And after that job, I went to this company called Andrews Logistics. Andrews was one of the better jobs I had. Andrews was a pretty good job. There is still today. I say that was a good job. That's the only job, Andrews Logistics. I got this thing where this is just how I feel. I got this thing where I don't go, like if I leave a job, like if a job fire me, or if I quit a job, I don't go back. I believe in separation for a reason. So that's like in relationships. If I never dated a girl twice. Like if we broke up and we broke up, I'm not going back to you. I'm not messing with you at all. Like if we broke up, it's a reason for that. I don't think anybody, like, people want to do second chance, third chance. Nah. If it get that bad where you got to break up, leave that person alone. Get away from them. There's more people out there. There's more opportunity out there. I feel the same way about jobs. If you got to leave a job, if for whatever reason you got to leave a job, don't go back. They fired you, they laid you off, whatever happened, don't ever go. That's just how I feel. Now, some people may feel different if maybe $100,000 job, $250,000 job. Who knows? But me, I just don't believe in that. I get away from them. But I did go back to that job twice, and I'm gonna tell you why I regret it. The first time I was at the job, everything was cool. The job didn't run. They ran paper logs, so I was able to make so much money. I was able to run illegally, do stuff like, you know what I'm saying. I was able to play the game raw, and they got to the point where they was like, "Yo, we about to start doing like these digital logs. Like you ain't better cheat them logs, whatever." So I quit that job. I was like, "Bro, I need a local job. Y'all gotta do what y'all gotta do. I understand that, but I need a local job." So I got away from that job. But I ended up going back to that job. So after I left them, I went local. I went haul crude oil for this company called Martin Transport in Texas, in Baytown, Texas. And I worked with them for like 3 years. I was a certified driver trainer. I done so much at that job, and this is how I got fired from that job. This is how I lost that job. I had an oil spill, right? I had an oil spill that happened, and it was a pretty bad spill. And this guy, the regional manager, he was upset that I had the spill, so he was like, after I had the spill, he was talking shit like he wanted to fire me, but he couldn't fire me because I was one of the best drivers they had. I'm telling you, I'm not even capping for this. Like I'm telling something that can be verified. I trained like 30 drivers, like for this like 30 for sure, maybe a little bit more, but 30 for sure. If you put them all together, because I trained so many before I was certified to train. Then I got certified to train, and I trained however many I trained, and I never had an incident that I got written up for. So you get like 4 write-ups, right, before you get terminated. So you get a warning, another warning, a suspension, and then a termination. I ain't had nothing. So even like, let's say like I had a spill, right? I still had to go through due process. I still, you know what I'm saying? So I had the spill. I kind of told them like, yo, this is what happened. Like something was wrong with the meter. The meter was automatic, and that's how it loads your truck. It was automatic, and the meter wouldn't stop. And it was raining, and I couldn't, so I had to go up the ladder to check in the well. I had to do all kind of stuff. And that's what I was telling them. I was like, yo, that's what happened. So I didn't even get written up for that, but I had the spill. So what happened was this dude that he was the regional manager. He sent the safety guy out. Like I went to 3 or 4 different jobs. He sent the guy out to follow me. I seen the dude every day. Every day he tried to like sneak, and I seen him. The dude named Daryl Mosercheck. I seen the dude every day. He tried to sneak up on the well sites to watch me. So he came up, and he won the first day. The first day he came up, he said, "Man, what the hell did you do to Steve, man?" I said, "What you talking about?" He's like, "Man, Steve got a hard on for you, man. He wants you fired." I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, man." He's like, "I don't know what you did, man." But I said, "Well, I had that spill." I said, if he pissed off about that, we could talk about it. But I don't know what else to tell him. Like, I told him everything I had to tell him. He's like, "Whatever, man. You pissed him off." So he mad. Now, before that, we had a meeting. And at that meeting, he told my other friend, Daryl Sweet, he told Daryl, "Hey, man, Steve gonna fire Demetrius." And Daryl's like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, Steve gonna fire him." He's like, "What?" Because he had that spill. He's like, he making it sound like it's more than that. But he gonna fire Demetrius. He say, "Man, Demetrius is a trainer. He can't just fire Demetrius like that. He gotta write him up." He said, "Yeah, but he couldn't write him up because the well was broke. Like the well he pulled out of it malfunctioned. So it wasn't dropper error. It was the well error. So he couldn't write him up. But he's pissed because we still had to pay for the cleanup." So he's like, "Yeah, he been talking shit. Like he's like, man, I'm getting him out of here. I'm done with him. Like I'm getting him out of here." He's like, so Daryl told both of them named Daryl. My friend name was Daryl, and the safety guy name was Daryl. So my friend name was Daryl Sweet, and the safety guy name was Daryl Mosercheck. He told Daryl Mosercheck, he said, "Don't you think you should tell Demetrius? Like warn him?" He's like, "I'm gonna tell him. He should be all right though." And that's what he did. When the first day he came out there, he's like, "Yeah, man, Steve wants your ass, man. He about to try to fire you." I say, "I ain't done nothing wrong, and I don't do nothing wrong. I have been working there for 3 years. Like I ain't had no write ups, no nothing." He was like, "Yeah, man, he trying to get with you." So he's like, "Yeah, I'm just out here just to observe, just to make sure you're doing your job and this and that." I was like, "All right." So every day he came out to meet me, he gave me a paper. He's like, "Just sign that paper." I was like, "What am I signing?" He's like, "Just sign this paper. It just shows that I was here. I observed you doing your job. You done everything right and whatever." The paper was blank though. So at the bottom it says it had his name signed, and it was a place for me to sign. So I signed it. He did that shit 4 times. And then one day, I got ready to go to work, and my dispatch, Donovan, I was like, yo, you ain't send me my load or whatever. He's like, yeah, you're not doing no load today. You're doing some training. Donovan knew. Donovan knew I was getting fired, but he didn't tell me. He just said he went along with what they told him to say. That's how they got me in the office. He's like, yeah, you're doing some training today. So when I went to the office, I seen this guy from Kilgore. Like Kilgore is where the main terminal is. And he was the safety guy. Like if we had a safety meeting, he would come all the way from Kilgore and do the whole safety meeting, right? So when I seen him, I walked up to him and shook his hand. I was like, "What's up?" He's like, "What's up, man?" I say, I think I'm with you today." He's like, "You ain't with me today?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "They told me I had some special training to do. I'm with you." He's like, "I'm not here for you." He said, "I'm here for something else." He said, "But not for you." So that's when Steve was standing there, and my terminal manager, his name was Ken. He was a pastor. This dude Ken. He's a good dude too. So they pulled me in all. He's like, "Nah, Demetrius, you in here with us? Come on in here." So I went up in there. He was like, "Yeah, so no, we've been having some issues. Like Steve was talking, and then he stopped, and then Ken started talking. So Ken didn't even know. This is the bad part about it. My terminal manager didn't even know. So he was like, "Yeah, we got some word that you had been sitting in the truck while the truck was loading and this and that." I say, "Bro, I don't do that." He's like, "Yeah, well, somebody said." I said, "I don't care who said what. You ain't got no proof of that. I haven't been doing it." I say, "And the wells that I go to, they got cameras on the leases, so you could just look at the lease. You could just look at the camera and see." So Steve, Ken was just talking to me like normal because he didn't know what Steve had planned. So Steve was like, "Yeah, so here's the days that Daryl went out on the lease and observed you sitting in the truck. He pulled out all the papers I signed, and they had all kind of words written on, like all kind of stuff that wasn't on there before." So I'm looking at it, and then I'm looking like the first day. He's like, "Yeah, pulled up to the lease. He was in the truck sitting down doing this." Every day that dude pulled up to the lease, I was outside by my barrel counter, outside by my trailer, load my trailer. And he wrote all kind of shit. So this how dirty they did me. It was 4 different instances. That was my 4 strikes. They done it on each day. I didn't get a verbal warning. I didn't get a second warning. I didn't even get a suspension. He just lined it up 4 write-ups and fired me that day. So I was like, I'm looking at the papers. I'm reading them. I'm going through. I'm reading them. And by the time, like, now they still talking, I'm zoned out. Cause I'm like, this bitch. Like I got played. So I'm looking, I'm like, so when I finally tune back in, I say, so I didn't get no due diligence. I didn't get nothing, bro. Like, what is this? How we get past this? So Steve was like, well, Demetrius, it's a little bit more serious than that. We can't. You're supposed to be an example of this company, and you're a certified driver trainer. You're supposed to be a leader here. And if you're a leader and you doing things the wrong way, we can't trust you to teach drivers to do it the right way. Now, granted, I didn't train over 30 people for this company in 3 years. I didn't train so many people, and now you telling me you don't trust me? And he was like, yeah, it's a little bit more serious than that, man. We're gonna have to let you go. And when he said that, like, I looked at Ken, and Ken looked at Steve like he was so surprised, like, and he was like, yeah, we can't take no risk, man. It's like, the crazy part about that, when I first got to that place, when I first got to that company, my trainer was a guy named Rodney Green, cool ass dude, and he told me one day Steve was walking across. We was fueling up at the yard. Steve walked across the lot and he said, "See, I can't stand that motherfucker." He said, "That dude dirty, bro." I said, "Who, him?" He's like, "Yeah, Steve." He's like, "That's the terminal man." At the time, Steve was the terminal manager where I was at. He hadn't made regional manager yet, and he was talking about him. He said, "Yeah, man, that dude dirty, bro." He said, "You know Steve?" He said, "He probably hired you." I said, "Yeah, he did hire me." He said, "If he hired you, he gonna be the one to fire you." I said, "What you mean?" He's like, "Bro, Steve got a unbeatable streak. Everybody he hired, he fired." He said, "Even if it's another person that hired you, oh no, like it's like he hired you, and then you go work at another terminal. If they say, well, this person got to get fired," he said, "Steve said, I'll do it. I'm the one. I want to do it." So I'm like, what? Like at the time, like I said, I'm brand new. Just hearing that, I'm like, nah, that's just how you feel about it. Or maybe you had a bad run in with him. That's not what it was. That's exactly what happened. The man that hired me was the same man that fired me, but he done me so dirty. And the messed up part about it was this. After I left, I got up, I was so pissed. I got up to leave, and Ken was just looking at me. His mouth was wide open. And Steve put his hand out. He's like, in 90 days, you could reapply and we'll see if we could rehire you. He put his hand out. I walked clean out of there. I didn't shake his hand. I walked out of there. I was so pissed. And I got halfway down the road and Ken called me and he was crying. He's like, Demetrius, I'm so sorry, man. I'm sorry. He's like, I didn't know that this was happening. He's like, Steve did not tell me he was planning on letting you go. He told me we had to have a meeting with you and we had to tell you that what you was doing was unacceptable. He said he didn't tell me that that he wanted to fire you. He said, he's like, have you ever been suspended? I've never seen in your file you've been suspended. I said, but I never had any disciplinary action ever. And this dude was a pastor. And he felt like they involved him in it. He felt like it was wrong, it was dirty. And he was just crying. I was like, bro, don't even worry about it, bro. He's like, man, I'm gonna call Kilgore. Like, we're gonna get this straight. I was like, nah, I don't want to work there no more. If they had to go through all that to fire me, I don't want to work there. I said, it's cool. I said, I'll have another job by next week. And that's when I went to Andrews for the second time, which I shouldn't have did that. But I remember after that happened, man, 2 weeks after that happened, Daryl Mosercheck called me. They fired his ass. And he was like, man, Demetrius, he's like, how you doing, bud? How you doing? I say, bro, why you call my phone? Like, I answered it because I wanted to get on his ass. I wanted to read him his fucking rights. And I was like, bro, why you call my phone? Like, I said, bro, me and you, we got beef right now. He's like, man, listen, bro, what happened, bro? They ain't had nothing to do with me, man. Steve planned all that shit, man. Steve asked me to do that. And I said, why you didn't deny it? He's like, well, man, he's my boss. What I'm supposed to do? I said, you're supposed to do the right thing. That was the wrong thing to do. I said, bro, you took food out my family mouth, bro. I said that, and I got fired, bro. I said I was a driver trainer, bro. I said I had good merit at that job. Man, I'm sorry, bro, but it's bigger than that, man. They fired my ass. They did me like they did you. They fired. He's like, man, we should get some lawyers, man, and we should go at them. I said, nah, you get a lawyer. You do what you gotta do for you. I'm moving on. I'm not worried about them no more. I think what happened. This is what I think. I think that Steve ended up firing Daryl because he had to cover his tracks. That him and Daryl knew what they did to me. So I think he had to get rid of Daryl to say, like, yeah, not nobody know what happened, just me. I'm the only one work here now, and I'm the only one know I set him up. And I don't know. I don't know. It was a bad thing, but it happened just like that. It happened just like that. And my homeboy Daryl, he just stopped working there this year, but he had worked there. Like, I trained Daryl. I had trained him, and I remember he told me, he called me one day. He's like, man, Steve going through it, bro. Steve this, Steve that. Man, Steve got cancer. I'm like, man, I don't give a damn. That's on him. All he ever did was do people dirty his whole life, bro. Like, karma, come back around. It come back around how it come back around, bro. Sorry to hear that, but that ain't my concern. When I went back to Andrews was the damn job. When I went back there, they sent me to do a physical, and then when I done that physical, that's when the motherfuckers started trying to test me for sleep apnea. That shit, bro, that was terrible, bro. That was a bad time. Like I say, that's why I don't believe in second chances. That's why I don't believe in going back to somebody after you leave them. If you quit a job, don't ever go back to nah, bro. I know money, you know what I'm saying? I get it, bro. But nah, I should have stayed away from them. That shit ruined me going back to Andrews. After Andrews, that's when I purchased my first truck. So it was January 2017. That's when I got in my lease for my truck. I say my first truck. It was my first and my last truck. But that's when I started to do my own thing. And I had made up the decision, like I said, you know what? So much stuff had happened in my trucking career. That was the one thing that I had never done yet. That was the one thing I had never done yet, was own my own truck. I made so many people so much money. I trained all these people. And I ended up getting fired or laid off from most of my jobs. There's only a few jobs that I quit. Most of, most of the jobs I got fired or laid off. So I said that. I said, you know what? I need to be my own boss, or nobody can handle me like that. And that's when I started my lease. I did the lease. I think I finished paying for my truck in 2020. No. 2021, I think. So I think 2021, I finished paying for the truck. Man, and that was a owning your own truck and owning your own business is rewarding, it's satisfying, but it's different, man. You got to be a different dog to handle it. Listen. I went through Hurricane Harvey. I went through COVID. I went through a lot, man, with that company and with that truck. There was times, man, where I bust my ass and I was still in the negative. There was weeks where I wasn't even getting paid. It's just different, man. It's real different. But it was a good experience. I'm glad I did it. I'll never do it again. And that's my trucking journey, man. Right now, I'm working locally. I'm still in trucking. I'm working locally for a good company, very good company. I'm not gonna say the name of the company, but it's trucking. It's still trucking. It's still tough. It's still stressful. It's you know, I'm going to get out of it eventually, but yeah, that's my journey. The only thing I've never done in trucking was flatbed. I've pulled some flatbeds before, but I've never done flatbed, like go pick up a flatbed load. I've moved a flatbed trailer. I never done refrigerated. Um, I never done heavy hauling. Never done that, but that's not anything that I wanted to do. Everything I've wanted to do in trucking, I've done. So yeah, that's my journey in trucking. Um, the I started to bring my PlayStation with me on the road in 2004. Yeah, 2004. I started to bring my PlayStation 2 on the road, and that was back when I was playing sports games. That's when I was like in Madden, playing Madden and stuff like that. But yeah, I've always had my PlayStation with me. At one point in time, when I said like, okay, I'm gonna start streaming from the road, I had a badass internet connection. I remember my friend told me that I was trying to stream, and he was like, "Man, your stream is choppy as fuck. Like I can't watch it." So that's when I ended up getting the hotspot, the jetpack, and stuff like that. And that's when I started to say, okay, let me record some of my trips. Let me do some of this. You know what I'm saying? I try not to let being on the road and being in trucking stop my content creation, but it's tough. It's very tough. Even like right now, it's tough. Like, I go now and I work some crazy hours right now, man. I can work anywhere from 6 to 16 hours a day. And when I get home, it's like, I gotta get with my wife, I gotta get with the kids, and then it's like, I'm tired. I don't want to do nothing. I don't want to do anything else. I gotta shake that, but it's tough. It's not as easy as it sounds. It's real tough. So that's my journey in trucking. The way the way I would separate um trucking, content creation, and family is, well, of course, your job, you got to work your job. You have to. Like, you got to do what you got to do. After that comes your family. Like, your family, like, whatever they need, right? Sometimes you got to tell them no for what they want, but for what they need, the time they need, you know what I'm saying? Everything they need, take care of that. After that, like right after that, completely after that, you got to get your content in. You have to, you know. I made so many clips and I got so much content that I had ready to go. But even just after a long day of work, I don't feel like cutting them down and editing. Like, I don't do any monster editing. Now, if you see my videos, you look at my YouTube channel and all that, it's nothing on there that's crazy. But still, just shortening them up to make a short. Like, I got 15-minute clips, 5-minute clips, 3-minute clips, and I gotta trim them. I gotta trim them just to make a short, and it's like it gets tiring, man. It gets tiring. Y'all go ahead right there. Check out the YouTube channel. But the journey it's been a great journey. Like I said, I'm appreciative, but I'm resentful at the same time. There's a lot that I lost. There's a lot that I went through that I could have did without. There's a lot that I missed. It's just so much that trucking takes from you. But that's my walk. That's my life. That's what I've been through. That's what I continue to go through. It's good and it's bad. But you just gotta learn how to navigate. You learn how to navigate anything in life. You learn how to navigate, you make it work. You can make it work. So I hope y'all enjoyed that. I hope I was very informative about the companies and the journey and everything that I've been through. I enjoyed that, man. Just reliving that, just thinking about some of this stuff. I came a long way, man. I came a long way in content creation and trucking. Like, I remember at one point in time, I thought I was the only one streaming on the road. I thought I was the only one, like, because I was running to so many people that be like, man, you got a PlayStation in your truck? How you power it? How you online? And I would tell them about it, and I'm like, I'm surprised everybody that plays games not doing this. Why? I was doing it before I could even stream. Like I said, I had my PlayStation 2 in my truck. Like, I wasn't gonna be on the road without my game. I'm still not gonna be without my game. I try to play my game every day. I try to. It don't work like that all the time, but I try to. I have the intent to. Like I say, things happen, life happens, and sometimes it's for the best. But make your time. Make your time for your content, man. Make your time. Do what you can. Do what you can. You can't do it all, but do what you can. This motherfucker know I'm streaming too. I don't know why she calling. Well, let's wrap it up, man. I appreciate y'all coming through here. Thank y'all for spending time. Thank you, Lucky, for coming through. Thank you, Reaper, for coming through. Joe, bro, man, I appreciate all y'all, man. I appreciate y'all. See who we can rate it out to. Make sure y'all tune in next. Oh, no. I don't think I'm gonna do a show next week. We supposed to be going to Vegas. Supposed to be. If we go to Vegas, no show, but I'll confirm it. I'll confirm it like Wednesday. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Let's see. Let's see who's screaming. Streaming. Who we gonna raid out to? Run streaming. Joe Bro streaming. Rod. Uh, why you calling me? Why you calling me right now?
Oh, you don't want nothing from the store? I can just pay.
I'm streaming.
Okay, I'll take care of it.
All right.
Bye.
You know this. You know what I'm doing. I was doing it when you left. I tell you, boy. I tell you. No, what? Let's raid run. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna raid and run. Bro, I know, bro. Why these apps be doing this shit, man? Make sure I'll tell her the pics to say what up though. I'm about to get me some games in too. Mm. Like I say, man, thank y'all. I appreciate y'all time. The vibe will be up on YouTube. I'm gonna try to like shorten up the intro because I know people have been saying like you put it the whole video on YouTube and then it take a long time for the video to start and it's like they don't want to fast forward it just to get to where it start. It's just like you should do that. And I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. No, there's no problem. I'm gonna take it. I'll take care of it. I got you. I got you. Y'all be easy, man. I'm just joking, man. I'm just joking. Thanks for the advice, man. I appreciate y'all, man. Pics to love, y'all.
Your bike is cooked, bro.
I mean, yes and no.